What's raging, gamers? Welcome to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, HenricK the Wreck?
Oh, you know me, Chris. I'm here to rage. And how do we start off the show?
Man, you already know. We got to start it out with a bang and show you guys a lot of viral content that is circulating all across the World Wide Web. So let's go ahead and set the tone. A Minecraft movie just blew up the box office like a creeper at a sleepover, raking in 157 million in the US and 301 million worldwide. That's not just a win. That's the biggest opening for any video game movie ever. And fans, oh, they lost it. One screen got so chaotic, it was with the legendary chicken jockey scene that the police even had to show up because apparently nothing says family fun like law enforcement escorting you out mid popcorn toss. I think this is like the first time in a long time, HenricK, too, that I've seen a movie be paused in the middle of a screening.
Okay, Stitch.
Man, I appreciate the enthusiasm, but I really feel for the employees who have to clean up all that mess.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point that you're referencing, HenricK. I think it was funny the first time, but then when everybody's like picking up on the same trend, you got to remember that like these same people that work at these theater houses, they're gamers too. Like, you wouldn't want that same thing to happen to you while you're clocked in on your job. So, like, just keep that in mind. And it was funny the first time. Now, after a while, you're just making a jackass of yourself. But let's go ahead and dive right on into the comments because I know they're going to be electrifying. A room full of people recording and jumping and yelling all of this is for a movie is worth it. Yeah, until you create, not the fondest of memories, for the people that work and put on the movie that makes it so grand. And then you also have the actual fun police, kind of killing the vibes a little bit. Yeah, I wonder how many times they actually had to keep pausing the film, and it got that bad. I mean, I've even seen some footage where there was throw up. Involved. So you wonder if there was people bringing alcohol, underage kids. Who knows? Hopefully that wasn't the case. I don't have the police reports on that. But then the last comment is, Snow White can never comprehend this. I think we were all a bit shocked at first that this was such a massive success. I mean, the fact that it beat out Super Mario Bros. Movie, right, HenricK? Were you anticipating this?
No, I was not, because I felt like the Super Mario movie was actually marketed pretty well, and people liked the trailer. And then when the Minecraft movie trailer came out, people were like, this looks not good. And I guess it transcended that somehow.
Well, especially when you can relate to Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, and Bowser, and then you got I Am Steve. That's as far as you can go. But, the imagination was there. It was definitely for all family friendly. So, yeah, go ahead and go see a Minecraft movie out now today. But this was also going viral. A gamer goes into a full meltdown after his NBA 2K25 player suffers a collapsed lung. That's right, not a sprained ankle, not load management, an actual career-ending lung collapse in a video game. I mean, all that grinding, leveling up, and endorsement deals just to have your my player sidelined by a virtual respiratory failure. That's really, really brutal. So I feel like at this point, 2K isn't a sports sim anymore. It's a medical drama. We all have to embrace it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the moment this digital dream went completely off the rails.
Back. Casey Big Boy. Oh, I'm hurt. No, it's weird. I might be done. I think I'm done. It might be serious in there. What happened? I knew I couldn't breathe. I knew I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, that's a recovery time. You're not going back on the field for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a real thing. I mean, people that come to mind, we even had to do a little bit of research before we jumped on. I was like, oh my gosh, is that even a real thing? When's the last athlete that actually had a collapsed lung? You kind of forget, even CJ McCollum, he had kind of suffered a little bit with a certain situation with his lung, but then was able to be healthy enough to jump back on the court. Chris Bosh, I totally forgot, also comes to mind. He had fluids in his lungs that kind of limited his play moving forward throughout his fantastic career. And so, yeah, it's definitely a real thing. But let's go ahead and dive right on into the comments with this horrific career-ending injury in NBA 2K25 with career-ending. Bro, that's life-ending. Not necessarily.
Yeah,
Not necessarily.
You can survive it, but that recovery time is going to be quite lengthy.
Yeah, it could definitely, a career-ending would be the proper word. Yes. And then there's close the game immediately and hope that it didn't save. Yeah, I think that's always been the classic practice. You just better hope that that's always how I used to play when I was playing Fallout 3. Every single time you jumped, into the sewer, it was like, you better save before you even keep moving forward.
Hold on, let me quick save real quick.
Exactly. You know how it goes, HenricK. And then last, why would you code a collapsible lung into a basketball game? Yeah, I hear you. Sometimes you feel like it would be like maybe a broken spine, out for the season, but
yeah,
but hey, it's there. It's definitely a real thing. It happens to NBA athletes. But man, HenricK, the Nintendo Switch 2 is officially dropping this year, and guess what? It brought backup. So say hello to the new C button, because clearly A, B, X, and Y were getting lonely on that device. And so what does it do, you might be asking, gamers? Well, it unlocks Nintendo's shiny new feature called Game Chat. So now up to 12 players can voice chat and share screens in real time, even if you're all playing different games. It's like a virtual couch where no one's hogging the controller. I know, it's really nice. Very, very cool. So if you haven't seen, the commercial kind of hyping up some of the features.
Introducing Game Chat, a new feature for Nintendo Switch 2.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
The fuck you say to me, you little shit?
With this feature, you'll be able to communicate with friends and family while playing a game. All together, anytime, anywhere. Game Chat.
Oh, the classic ninja clip of him yelling at some kids in Fortnite.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can only imagine what's going to happen, especially with the new roaming feature when it comes to the new Mario Kart that's going to be coming out. Also, you can be playing different games. Like, you don't necessarily all have to be playing together. Like, one person will be playing the new Metroid Prime. You could be on Mario Kart. I don't know how that's all going to work out. You ever heard of Discord? Maybe Discord will show up. Who knows? Maybe not. Everything's.
I mean, the only difference with Discord being you need a capture card in order to get your console gameplay up in Discord with your friends.
Well, PlayStation's going to make it happen.
It kicks off.
Nintendo's definitely wants the money, clearly, as we reported last week. $80, $90 for video games? Oh, that's so insane. So does the C stand for costly? Yeah, kind of like what we were insinuating.
It does cost money.
I'm also kind of surprised that the Nintendo Switch, I believe it was Doug Bowser that made the comment that was like, hey, listen, look, we understand not everybody can afford the Nintendo Switch 2, but you guys do know we have the Switch that's a little bit more affordable for people that can't jump on to the next console. Isn't that the same thing that we all kind of clowned with Xbox when they made the same kind of comment about the Xbox 360?
Yeah,
you can't buy an Xbox One? These people will never learn. Or maybe the consumers will never learn, because we constantly keep buying this, these price tags.
A good valid point as well, yeah.
And Nintendo finally discovers Party Chat after 20 years, but limited to 4 people and locked behind the $50 a year Switch Online paywall. This is pathetic. Well, I mean, to be fair, you still have to pay to play online with Xbox and, PlayStation. Yeah, it still feels like it should be there for free. But,
yes, it really should be.
But, nothing comes, with the price. And then also my aunt's wedding, and then Switch 2 reveal. Oh, you guys going to be dressing up? No more PJs when you're playing your video games? Is that how it's going down? Now that you are visible on camera? Okay, I'm seeing it. Maybe you might find your future love playing the Switch 2. Who freaking knows? So, HenricK the Wreck, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
Oh, yeah. And this one's for the audience. In the words of Scorpion, get over here. Come sit down, watch. We're going to talk about a game.
Oh, man, you get a little feisty. You guys better come after HenricK. I like it.
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Atomfall. Atomfall is a new game IP from Rebellion Developments, a studio that has been around since the 90s. In more recent years, however, they have been known for the Sniper Elite series, and this one is a departure from that. So with that being said, let's take a look at Atomfall, starting first with the gameplay. Atomfall is a survival action game first and foremost, with RPG elements thrown in. This is clear from the very start of the game, as you are taught how to craft bandages and more shortly after, as well as how to survive on the world of Atomfall. Think of it like a mix between Fallout and Stalker, but British. Fallout because the game has the vibe and atmosphere of a Fallout game and some RPG mechanics, and Stalker because you're going to be scrapping for a while once you start the game to get your bearings. You'll feel pretty weak early on, but that's on purpose. There's plenty of quests given to you via leads that you find in the world, and lots of them overlap with each other or have steps that get unlocked via actions or dialogue with the NPCs. The quests easily can bring out the inner detective in you, something that can also happen in Fallout. For weapons, you'll either be using melee or guns, but more likely melee because gun ammo can be scarce and inventory space is limited. The upside to that is that guns do have a real impact, and you can even threaten enemies with a gun. Moving on to the story. The story of Atomfall takes place in a post-apocalyptic Britain after an event called the Atomfall took place. This event was a nuclear disaster that left much of the world devastated and those close by stuck in quarantine. Despite the circumstances, people managed to survive in their own ways, yourself included as a wanderer of the world who has found themselves in the inclusion zone. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
Is this secretly a Bethesda game? Oh, wait, it's actually not as buggy as one, so maybe it isn't.
Oh, he went there. Hey, but you know what? That's the charm about these kind of style of open world games. Yes, Atomfall is what happens when Fallout, Outer Worlds, and Far Cry crash into a BBC documentary about nuclear disasters, but then someone adds Colts, cricket bats, and a metal detector for good measure.
And that metal detector is very useful alongside all the other things that you'll be able to carry in your small little inventory, because your inventory is very, very tiny in this game. But that's part of the point of it. You're not meant to be gathering and picking up every single thing that you come across. That's for the Bethesda games, okay? This game is all about managing your resources. It's a survival game, really, when it comes down to it. And actually, that means that it's a survival game for the NPCs as well, which is why when you actually use a gun, it's going to make a gun be useful against them.
Well, I never want to live through a nuclear disaster. And I mean, think about it. I mean, everything would be very, very scarce. So Atomfall drops you straight into a radioactive British nightmare. You'll have to scavenge, like HenricK is saying. You have to craft, barter, sneak, fight, and talk your way through it all. It's like playing Elder Scrolls if you had to trade, dragons for British paranoia and your mace for a rusted shotgun. I might add, HenricK.
Yeah. And it is a very British setting. Like, the characters all have the accents you can imagine. There's all the little different British slang thrown in there as well. Very much just British architecture and the design and everything as well. The gameplay really does revolve, I would say, mostly around the interactions between you, the player character, and the NPCs. Yeah, there's the gameplay, obviously, of going out and, killing some dudes, maybe sneaking around a little bit, typical stuff, right? But the meat and potatoes, you could say, of this game is really finding the leads or talking to people to get leads on quest lines, and then exploring a bit to get the next step, because it doesn't necessarily hold your hand in where to go next. You kind of got to figure that on your own. And that's the charm of it. It's one of those games you can't expect to just breeze through. You got to put in the effort.
Definitely not going to be holding your hand along for this journey. Yes, Atomfall throws you into a bleak but oddly beautiful countryside full of weirdos, rogue government agents, sketchy mysticism, and I'm totally not a cult, but you're going to have to figure out whether I'm a cult or not kind of vibe to it. I think what makes Atomfall really stand out, like we were both kind of suggesting in the beginning, the metal detector, right? You could sweep out, bombed out cottages looking for a treasure like a post-apocalyptic antique hunter. And with resources being the one-size-fits-all currency for practically everything, whether you're whipping up bandages, nail bombs, or that pistol that you really shouldn't trust, crafting is your best friend in this game, and that's no different than the mechanics in The Last of Us, I would say, but without having to worry about finding a workbench. You can literally do it right in the pause menu.
In the same way. You don't have zombies like in The Last of Us.
Very
you
true.
Weird stuff going on, just not the Last of Us variant of stuff. We'll say.
True, and since we are talking about the combat, I would say it is like Far Cry's rougher cousin. You do got that melee swings, the janky guns, and the occasional enemy who forgets that cover exists and runs straight into your shotgun like it's a conga line. I do love that kind of style of gameplay. It's a little bit refreshing. Don't have to take itself completely serious. And then you do, if you are that kind of type of person that likes to keep it stealthy, there's archery, right? You can retrieve your arrows like you're a proud Skyrim graduate who finally paid off their sneak skill. So if you graduated there, you're going to do very well in Atomfall.
Yes. And what did you think about the storyline, Chris? Was it a standout feature to you, or did it feel like it was a sideline sort of feature?
I think, those kind of style of games I think are very, very fun. I love a game that brings a fictional, historical approach to games. What comes to mind is like Assassin's Creed. You think of like Ghost of Tsushima. It makes you learn about something that you maybe had no idea about. Like I never knew about this whole 1957 debacle, with the whole nuclear disaster that happened in northern England. And so as you're playing this game, you tend to, as you start to shut off your console, want to read more about what brought this game to life. And I think that's what the most exciting part about these kind of style of games. But I don't want to reveal too much, because I think, like you were referencing though, HenricK, like your choices matter. And you're going to definitely want to go and revisit some of those old save points to be able to figure out whether I should have spared that ally or not.
Yeah, or killed the dude who seemed a little sketchy and maybe a little off-putting, but you decided, nah, you know what, I'll let you go this time. Maybe the outcome would have been better if you didn't let him go.
Yeah, and I think, to be fair with this game, there are janky moments in Atomfall. I really still love this game, but like you have enemies running headfirst into your bullets. There are times where they're grouping up for like an easy grenade practice, but hey, that's just a part of the genre's charm in a sense. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I think that's up to you, the gamer, to have to decide. But like, even I had a Fortnite flashback moment, HenricK, when like I had to even like, I lured like an enemy to the edge of a cliff and I sent them flying with the bat like they just got evicted from the porta potty. I'm sure you've seen those videos like numerous times where a whole squad's following you and you're like, yeah, it's just funny. Or you get or what's those games where they're like climbing up a ladder? And you get like 3 of them in a row, and it's like they're kind of stupid. Or like we've seen with AC Shadows, where people are like crawling around on the ground, and the enemy can't really see, and you're like, okay, I thought this was supposed to be a stealthy assassin game.
I think you would be very seen if this was reality.
Right, exactly. But I think a lot of that stuff is really cool.
Yeah, it's a new IP, and I can appreciate that. Especially it's from a studio that didn't really delve into the open world just yet, so bugs are to be expected. And honestly, even just from the merit of it just being an open world game, it's gonna be buggy in some respect. It's just, does it get in the way of having fun? And I would say no, it doesn't get in the way. It actually, if anything, adds a little bit of flair and excitement to some encounters where all of a sudden something unexpected will happen.
Yeah, but it also does kind of remind me of some of the gimmick that we used to make fun of with Star Wars Outlaws. And I know you were you were very critical about some of that kind of style of gunplay and how it didn't really translate well with the video game. Some people might feel that way a little bit when it comes to Atomfall, but you can't take it too seriously. It's got that British sci-fi vibe nailed down, and for me, HenricK, That's a repeat. I had a total blast with it. I think it's really, really fun. I'm like really surprised because, you're like, where's the pause? Where you guys haven't been really hypercritical recently. But I don't know. I'm really, truly, I'm vibing with this game. I think it's a lot of fun. And if you're into like games like Fallout, like I am, you're going to vibe with this game. But HenricK, what's the verdict?
Well, if it was just the gameplay, I would actually say this is maybe a pause for me. But what really hooked me on this was the experience of the quest lines and the NPC interactions, especially because, like we were saying, the choices actually matter. And so for that reason, it is a repeat for me as well.
Hey, well, there you go. You got it. Yeah, you're either going to be searching for that, wind scale nuclear disaster. You're going to go like off and go like, who killed that one lady in the church and who needs help on that cow field? Yeah, there's endless possibilities to explore caves, ruins, and so much more. But we want to hear from you, the gamers out there around the world. Is this a pause to play something else or a repeat for endless fun? Let us know what's good. But HenricK the Wreck, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend? Because we got so much here, more to discuss on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show.
Oh, yeah, we do. So let's get the ball rolling.
What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host HenricK the Wreck and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. Microsoft kicked off its Xbox AI era with MUSE, an AI model that can literally generate gameplay. At first, it looked like one of those, don't worry, it's just like a research thing projects, but now it's out in the wild, inside Quake 2. So as part of their Copilot for gaming push, Microsoft dropped an AI-generated version of the 1997 classic, playable right in your browser. Yes, you heard that correctly. It's an old school Quake meets new school robot brain.
Man, Chris, that looks a little rough, but you got to keep in mind, I guess, that this is generated on the fly. It's not a pre-made thing by any means.
Yeah, I mean that is what's super wild, with the future technology that's just rapid. I mean, it's moving so freaking fast. And so Microsoft's first MUSE AI demo ran at a glorious 10 frames per second with a resolution so low it made Minecraft look like 4K. But now we've been blessed with an upgrade, a whopping 640 by 360 resolution and an actual playable frame rate. So that's right. Maybe one day we'll be having a toaster that can finally run it without breaking a sweat, not just off your vape pens. We know you little pestering little kids like to play your Pac-Man on your bad little smoking devices. But let's go ahead and see what gamers had to say about this pixel-powered miracle with the following. So yeah, let's dive right on in. The first comment that we got is, much game, very Quake. And who's that person that's Quake responding to this? Tim Sweeney from Epic Games. That's quite, someone that's clearly doesn't want anything to do with AI as of yet. Yep.
Not yet.
Yeah, I know, right? I think he's going to cave in one of these days. And then you get comments like this. The gaming industry is literally being held by indies at this point. Indies are the developers with the balls to give us something new. While at this point, every AAA publisher is too scared to try something new. So why not just re-release what worked over a decade ago? They just want to print money, not new content. Yeah, I think this is absolutely totally fair. I mean, it's kind of funny to, see comments from, Microsoft themselves, literally saying, quote, this is not intended for this to fully replicate the actual experience of playing the original Quake 2, end quote. So what is it, HenricK? I'm a little confused. Yeah. I thought this is for remastering.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Like, you're saying one thing and then you mean another, and you're saying another thing, and then you say, oh, never mind, actually. What is it, Microsoft? What is the whole point of this? Are you just flexing? or are you going to actually use this tech for something?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Who you? You're not fooling anybody. And then we got absolute ass. Anybody promoting AI slop. Yep, Martin Scorsese will call your AI video game a roller coaster ride. Remember, that was a previous comment about the Avengers Endgame, by the way.
Yeah.
And then we have this. You can play Quake on a calculator, bro. Why are you doing this in the most resource-intensive way possible? Because we can. Like, as if Doom, remember, that was running on a PDF file, earlier in the year or last year. Can't remember when. But, It's still amazing, though, right? I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it is a technical feat, but I also can see what this commenter means by saying, hey, guys, what is the point of this, really?
Well, I think we kind of know, as much as they don't want to admit. And then you get, wow, it's dog shit. Well, it's not going to be perfect right away. And the fact that they're allowing you to be able to try it out, I think is really, really cool. But clearly not everybody vibes with it. And then the last comment we have here is hard pass. I only play games made by human developers, and I plan to keep it that way. It's always funny about those kind of style of comments. It makes me think about like the Academy Awards and like people like, watching these movies and they go, wow, it's like the best picture of the year. And then all of a sudden you find out like after they receive the award that, oh yeah, some of it did have AI modulation with it. Maybe when it came to voice or artistic approach, you name it. But HenricK, is it really the future of gaming if it looks like your webcam from 2004 and runs like it's stuck in molasses? I mean, did you see the pixelated imagery? I mean, gamers aren't exactly amused by Xbox's latest AI demo. Most are wondering if MUSE stands for, well, get this. Does MUSE stand for maybe use something else?
I mean, that's one way to put it, right? Because I would definitely not play this. And I know majority of people out there would definitely not play this game.
But then again, we were the millennial generation. Remember when the Game Boy dropped that little mini, Game Boy? That little tiny little piece of shit, to be able to play our Game Boy Advance. I mean, so there was a moment in time, I hear my father in my voice right now where he's like, why are you watching sports on your iPhone when you can blast it on your TV? You have a bigger way of an output. Why? I don't know. It's just convenient. But fair enough, HenricK.
Yeah, but really, it feels like this is just a tech demo, if anything. And it's just going to be a tech demo for the ability to then take this tech and put it in something else maybe a bit more useful, like Chris was alluding to, the ability to recreate games on the fly that are not otherwise accessible, whether it be, it's locked on a console that is so antiquated that nobody has any that really works anymore, or maybe it's one of the games that they'll have some licensing issue with and they don't have an incentive to put in the time and effort to actually recreate it because of that. But then if they give this tool the opportunity to make it, then it's a little less harsh on the end price to put it together. At least that's what I would see Microsoft's end goal with this being, is make it easier to recreate games for the modern age.
Well, I think
it's got a ways to go.
Well, it's definitely going to be used for trying to ramp up the production of future games. I also think they're going to use it for remasters. They're clearly going to be able to use this approach, and they're going to only master this craft even more, especially with all the AI tools that's just rapidly growing throughout this technological advancement. But I do have to kind of say I'm a little side. I'm curving a little bit. I was about to do that LaMelo Ball reference. I'm not going to go there, but swerve in the corner. But anyways, you have to laugh at this, HenricK. I mean, the official Nintendo Switch 2 camera, right? I mean, the OG one, that's going to output at a solid 1080p, right? But we're making fun of this whole 640 and 360 pixels. I mean, did anybody hear about this new Piranha plant camera that barely pushes out 640 to 480? I mean, that's laughable. So as you referenced, this is just a tech demo to kind of show the features, but we're literally selling devices in the year 2025 that pushes out a shitty webcam feature. That is insane.
Yeah, and
me.
no one should buy that Piranha Plant camera with the intent to actually use it.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's maybe a little novelty item, but don't pay $50 for that.
Yeah, don't be doing all that. Don't. But we definitely want to hear from you. We obviously understand that, you know, generative AI has become a hot topic in video games, with many voicing concerns about where it's going to lead to job losses or widespread plagiarism. We've heard from Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick, who recently said not only does he think AI won't lead to job losses, he believes it could lead to increased employment. On top of speaking to VGC, that is Video Game Chronicles, Split Fiction and It Takes Two director Joseph Ferris said that he thinks developers should work with AI rather than push against it, and called it, quote, both scary and very exciting, end quote. So, you know, definitely have to embrace it, but we want to hear from you, the gamers. Do you think this is exciting? Do you think maybe this can, you know, speed up the process a little bit to kind of bring back some of those old school games that you cherish and want to see delivered at a faster pace? Or do you think this is something where we should completely stay away and keep the human nature in gaming very lively and very active today? Let us know what's good. But HenricK, hey, break this down, man. This is crazy. We got a lot of things cooking up in the near future.
Well, with a Minecraft movie mining a whopping 301 million worldwide on opening weekend, Hollywood has officially hit Diamond Ore. We're at that point. What used to be the cinematic version of rolling the dice with a broken controller, video game movies, is now the industry's hottest cheat code. It seems like every studio is pushing one out there at some point, right? And,
no, they're definitely getting excited.
The studios are cashing in hard, lining up big screen adaptations all the way through 2027. Well, what's coming up next? Well, we got a few. As you can see in this graphic here, we got Mortal Kombat 2, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, see a couple sequels.
Yeah, right. Lots of
Super
sequels.
Mario Brothers 2.
I wonder if it's become a successful model.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, sequels are never as good as the original, as people say, but we'll have to see if this stands true for these.
Well, I'm hoping with Five Nights to Freddy, because I don't quite like the first one.
You love that one, I know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But we also got The Legend of Zelda and Death Stranding thrown in there.
Yeah,
which are a couple of newer ones that people have been clamoring all about, especially The Legend of Zelda one, because that one's a live action adaptation, which is an interesting choice. Right. But it is bound to be 90% walking and 10% existential crisis for Death Stranding, because that is how that game plays, right?
Yeah, I know. I mean, is it going to outpace the Lord of the Rings Return of the King? It's just like one long epic quest through the snow.
Where it's just walking and walking and walking. Yeah. Hey, Sam, are we there yet? Nope, not yet.
No, not yet.
Yes, but let's see what gamers have to say before Hollywood turns Harvest Moon, an old classic game,
no, don't go there, HenricK. No.
Gritty revenge thriller, because that would be the twist of a lifetime.
Maybe I might watch it after all. Yeah, let's jump right on into it. The one that we got here it was a fun movie, not absolutely amazing. Going to see it in the theater is what made the movie great. Everyone clapping, excited, and enjoying it. Hearing younger kids excited for Minecraft and going with your friends for the memes. Yes, I think, Minecraft definitely brought the Gen Zers out. There was definitely a large young audience group that's like 15 to 18, and maybe I didn't think that target audience would be showing up, but wow, they definitely didn't they, HenricK?
Well, there was a huge social media presence for the movie, and that's also what led to it being a success.
Yes, and we all love chicken jockey.
You see that
just
with a bunch of
do
stuff nowadays. If it trends on TikTok and other social medias, people will flock, regardless of whether it's good or not.
I know, especially when there's one video that's going viral. He's like, if I say Steve, you say I'm Steve. It's like, oh my gosh, these kids are corny. And then why not Hideo Kojima? He knows everything about cinema. He could have done it. While he is a producer on the series, they also did get the director that did Pig with Nicolas Cage. Why am I blanking out on the other film that he just did recently right now? I'm sure I will get back to all you gamers with it right now. But it's definitely something where maybe it might be best for a video game director to just stick to video gaming and then let the people that adapt these cinematic approaches to the people that really love that crap.
The thing about also if we had Kojima in charge of movies is the movies would be 8 hours long.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's not a TV series. This is a movie we're talking about here. And then we also go, this could be really good or be really bad. I'm scared with the follow-up comment that says they need to hurry up and just give the role to Hunter Schafer already. Yeah, wow. That just looks
what a lookalike, right?
Yeah, but it also gets me very, very nervous too for The Legend of Zelda. I think out of all the movies to be super hyped about, this one's definitely got me very scared. Very scared.
I'm right there with you as a big Legend of Zelda fan myself. Why did you choose to do live action? You could have easily done an animation like you did with the Mario movie. But hey, maybe it'll be good. We'll have to see because it's not out.
But not everything has worked necessarily well.
Trailer out.
Yeah, I mean, I would say not everything has necessarily worked out very well, even with the animation as well. I mean, you think of Devil May Cry, people thought that was really going to be a really good artistic approach, and then that didn't really necessarily pan out the way that I'm sure the studio was hoping it would be received by gamers. But then let's go! You got Mario and Luigi, as surprising as that was, with Charlie from, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and then Chris Pratt, playing Mario. A lot of us, including myself, were like, what the hell is going on with this casting choice? But, it ended up working out, and I can't wait to hear another Bowser piano ballad. And I want the song to be longer next time.
Yes. Yeah, they have to throw it in there, right? It was such a success the last time. They have to do it again.
Come on now. And then you get them being literally roaming the outside world is literally my worst childhood nightmare. Also, the toy animatronics looking absolutely horrifying in a good way. This is Freddy 2 that's going to be dropping in December time. So when you're dropping in December, you know that they're anticipating that this is going to be a massive hit with gamers.
Yeah, and I know you're going to go see that one in theaters even when it comes out, right, Chris?
I probably will, but, still, I was not a fan. I don't know. I thought the pace was a bit too slow. I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more horrifying. I didn't necessarily feel like it was a jump out, scary kind of a film. It was just too darn damn slow, but then it's okay. And then you get comments like this, so happy we're getting a sequel, and then others that are going, it's kind of giving me this wonky SpongeBob, I don't know, Avenger Team 5 to it.
But to Mortal Kombat's credit, I believe that anyone here who's watching can agree, if they've seen the previous Mortal Kombat movies, they're all
from 1997.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't really think
the line delivery is just so bad, but it makes it so good.
Because remember, the first one was dropped during the pandemic. It was an HBO Max kind of style movie in the year 2021, I believe it was. And, they were not entirely sure how, fans would receive it. It's definitely split right down the middle, I would say. I kind of enjoyed it, but I definitely do. Yeah, there was definitely some flaws to it, but I like that they're even trying to go for it, right? Like how Street Fighter is something that's going to be dropping in the near future. But HenricK, with video game movies taking over the box office like it's a side quest for global domination, which adaptation through 2027 are you most hyped to watch? Is it Zelda, Death Stranding, or are you secretly holding out for, let's say, a Super Smash Brothers movie? Maybe that's the trilogy to the Super Smash Bros. 2.
There was always that leaked announcement in what seemed like a theater, and it was definitely fake. It's not real, guys. I'm sorry, but it was the Super Smash Brothers universe sort of thing where it seemed like they were trying to build up a Avengers type movie pipeline for the Nintendo IPs. That would be awesome, but also kind of concerning. But if we're going off the things that actually are announced so far,
right?
The thing that has my eye and attention so far is the Zelda movie.
Really?
Because
okay.
I'm just curious on how it's going to turn out being a live action and whether they're going to go the really teen route and not the so kid-friendly route, because the stories can be a little dark in The Legend of Zelda. But if you go the more for everyone kind of, family-friendly route,
Five Nights at Freddy
really work too well.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think everybody's going to be a little hypercritical when it comes to some of their, favorite pieces. I know, like, we're sticking to movies, but, television-wise, like The Last of Us, everybody was really skeptical, like I was, about the whole casting choices when it came to some of our beloved Joel and Ellie, right? And, even future characters, even amongst that, universe. But, I think that, the biggest thing is, fans of these iconic IPs just want you to keep to the source material. You would have thought that Disney would have known that by now, seeing how Snow White completely butchered. Maybe you shouldn't be listening to Peter Dinklage. I mean, come on, man. Like, Peter Dinklage speaks for the entire dwarf community. Are you kidding me? He just completely ruined an entire job for that whole dwarf actor, a lot of guys wanted to do that, and girls. If they wanted to go that route, I wouldn't have done that. But just stick to the source material. You know what I mean? Not CGI. Dwarfs. That's completely crazy, and I think that's what a little bit is scary about. Until Dawn, right? We've heard that that's like the most. One that's going to be coming real soon, actually. It's coming out on April 25th. And, even the directors are kind of scaring people a little bit because people do love the idea that, you got to see, these 8 young adults fighting to survive on Blackwood Mountain. And so, you get to have that, experience of choosing where this bloody end will go. And, the director or directors, I think there's 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken. They're kind of like, we're not really gonna go off what the video games we're doing. So what? So you're just still in the name?
That's always such an interesting choice for them to do, and I say interesting, but I really mean it. It's probably a bad choice.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the history of the last couple years of IPs that got taken and then adapted into either a movie or a TV series, and did that where they completely, in a way, disrespected the source material and said, you know what, we can just do our own thing. They didn't turn out so well.
Yeah.
The ones that did turn out well, that did original stories, were, if I can think off the top of my head, the biggest one's probably the Fallout TV series.
Well, actually, I would make
that original characters.
So I'm curious that you're saying that, because I would actually argue that Fallout actually has a little bit more wiggle room in a sense where, you don't really have a main, protagonist like,
That's true, yeah.
Link,
it's a
right?
player character that you design for yourself.
Exactly. They have a little bit more creative freedom to be able to say, hey, let's make our own vault. Let's put a new number to it. We will showcase it in the same kind of experience that gamers get with Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4, and kind of go from there. Kind of like, the Helldivers movie. I think they kind of have a little bit of wiggle room. They kind of have some comedy relief, but also kind of keep it to that same fun gameplay experience that we all love with Helldivers 2, right? But I think the game that I would say, HenricK, video game movie adaptation that I'm looking forward to the most, I would say is the sequel to Mortal Kombat. I think there's a lot of answers that myself and fans included are really kind of want answers to. I mean, a lot of us we want calls for a tournament, right? Also, what's the deal with the returning threat of the Outworld? Those are all those kind of answers that I want to know, and I see that spooky, freaky looking mask, and I can't freaking wait. I mean, yeah, there's Five Nights at Freddy, there's Street Fighter. I mean, gosh, you got the Super Mario Bros. 2 that's supposed to be dropping out next year, and like you said, the live action Zelda, which, by the way, HenricK, Miyamoto rejected the idea of having an on-screen adaptation of The Legend of Zelda, but he only just recently changed his mind because of the success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Very, very wild to see Link heading to Hollywood. But is there a video game movie that we're missing that we are not saying, or we did say that you are super excited to see join the cinematic picture that we all love and cherish and binge watch all the time? Movies. Let us know what's good. But
what's going on with there's a plot twist. Something unexpected was crowned a certain title. Let us know.
Yeah, I don't think anybody saw this coming. There was a public poll by BAFTA to crown the most influential video game of all time in the year 2025, and it has delivered the gaming equivalent of a jump scare. So Shenmue took the top spot, and I'm sure some of you gamers are like, man, dude, like, did I even own a 1999 Sega Dreamcast and play this epic about a forklift driving and revenge?
I did.
You did play this?
Yeah.
Sorry, this completely fell off my radar growing up. But like, dude, it outranked Doom, Super Mario Bros., Half-Life, and even Ocarina of Time. And if you think that's wild, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I mean, gosh, let's go ahead and show you guys this. A game that's barely been out for 2 months landed in 7th place, beating out Super Mario 64. So yeah, either the games have, or gamers, excuse me, have strong opinions, or someone out there organized a digital coup. So let's go ahead and see what the internet had to say before it restarts the public poll with the following. And you can't now because we got the screenshots. But let's go ahead and dive right on into the comments. The first one says, this list doesn't even have Rogue, but it included a game that came out this year. I love Kingdom Come Deliverance, but whoever wrote this article is crazy. It's not an article. It's a poll. Okay, let's get that corrected. But then we also have a follow-up comment that says, 7th all-time for influential is kind of wild. Yeah, off the bat, Halo, Mario, Zelda, Minecraft, GTA, Call of Duty, Fortnite, Counter-Strike, League of Legends, World of Warcraft are all more influential, and there are dozens and dozens more. Yeah, I mean, you look at the list, you kind of just chuckle a little bit. I mean,
some of the choices are a little wacky.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, when you do see, like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 show up as ranked number 7, do you find as any kind of clear indication that it is in the running for Game of the Year?
Yeah, it's hard to say that would be influential. I can say it's in Game of the Year potential category for sure, but influential, when you hear that word, at least to me, I mostly hear how long has it stood around and influenced other games. Kingdom Come Deliverance came out this year, guys. Come on.
Right, but then also, too, it's like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, it has so many comparisons to past games, right? Yeah. Where you can make the argument in the year 2025, Split Fiction is doing something in the co-op world that we haven't seen in quite some time, right? And so I would make an argument that's a little bit more influential than Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
That would be more, I think, innovation rather than influential.
Right,
because influential means literally it's influencing other people to copy it. So until we see copies of, what Split Fiction did, it's not really influential in the same way that I see it as at least that's what I view this as.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. And then you got comments like this. I'm a Shenmue super fan, and there's no freaking way it deserves the most influential of all time. Super Mario Bros., Doom, Mario 64, Tetris, Pac-Man, GTA 3, Final Fantasy, and even something like Street Fighter 2 or Super Metroid has a better claim than Shenmue. And then you got a follow comment that says, those were all good games and some influential to their genre, but I have to agree with the BAFTA. Shenmue was a 3D open world game with unique NPCs, detailed environments, weather, and immersion. This is basically the norm now for AAA adventure games, but Shenmue started it for console gaming. But then again, influential or innovation, right? I mean, you can make that argument.
When you go into this situation then with Shenmue, it pioneered the open world genre, and you can even see influence of Shenmue in the Yakuza or Like a Dragon series. So that actually would be influential in that case.
But you wonder how influential
influenced other games to copy it.
Didn't influence the studio, it became a commercial failure.
Yeah, that is the thing.
So that's why it's like, what? And then damn right, not sure why it's a head scratcher seeing it as it pioneered a lot of the AAA games do today. Anyway, get in. Hashtag let's get Shenmue 4. So yeah, a lot of people want to see, a new adaptation to this game. And another comment that we got here is more recognition than Sega itself gives Shenmue. So what does that say about influential? And then swap out Kingdom and Boulder for Virtual Fighter and Street Fighter 2, and it's pretty perfect list of influential games. Yeah, for 2 of Fighter feels like that would have been the perfect replacement. Then Shenmue, I would say, because then that really kind of brought, more competition, right? Like we were just highlighting Total Fury last week. You got the Street Fighter, Soul's Calibur, you name it. Like it just opened up the doors for a lot of this awesome kind of style of fighter combat kind of style of gameplay. But then the last comment that we got here is more than Resident Evil 4 or Ocarina. I don't know, man. Top 5 for sure, but the most influential?
Yeah.
I don't know about that, cuz. So, HenricK, to be fair, this was a public poll, gamers, so don't come after BAFTA with pitchforks or a master sword, okay? They're just the messengers, probably as confused as the rest of us. But did Shenmue just drop a forklift on the gaming history and drive off with the title of most influential game of all time?
It's a list with some weird choices because, I would not have picked Shenmue as number 1. Actually, there's other choices on here that definitely would have been number 1 instead. And, that's from me saying that I see the list with games like Doom on there. How many articles do you see year by year of people figuring out ways to run Doom on something new? You were just saying earlier, someone earlier in the year ran Doom on a PDF file.
Yeah,
you don't get that from Shenmue. So
or
that
HenricK
really shows how much of reach and influence Doom has.
Yeah, we can even make this a lot easier, right? Minecraft, as you can see on the list, is in 6th place. So this is the easiest comparison if you want to say influential. Minecraft just pulled in 301 million worldwide on opening weekend. True. If they had a Shenmue movie, do you think it would even break 301 million worldwide? Maybe with the Asian countries, but I don't think so. I highly doubt it. I think
definitely doesn't have that pull
okay,
anymore.
It's like, does anybody ever seen The Studio? Like, the new Seth Rogen show? I don't want to spoil the first episode, but it's kind of like that joke where it's like, hey, we just acquired the IP for everybody's making fun of with there's a Hershey movie coming out. Right? It's like, what? Like, how do you make a movie around Tetris, right? Like, that seems tough. I mean, I guess we did have an emoji movie, but like, I feel like a Final Fantasy movie would do a lot better if you did it as in a movie adaptation than, let's say, a Shenmue. But like, I got to hear from you, HenricK. Like, I'm curious, like, with that top 10, you might want to throw the list back up, or if maybe there was one that didn't place the top 10. Was there anything on a game on this list that you were like, for sure, it shouldn't even be an argument? What game on there was, or that is the most influential, bar none?
It's a hard one to pick, but I'm gonna have to say on here Minecraft, just considering how much of a success it was and still is, clearly, with the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of creative expression with it, and I'm sure Lego is like every single time sees Minecraft be so successful, going, man, I wish we had this player base. Why didn't we just embrace this earlier on and let Minecraft do its thing? I'm actually not going to choose any of these games on this top 10. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go with the 19th ranked, which is GTA 3. I feel like that had way more influence back in the day. I mean, come on, when you think about it, I mean, yeah, it could be debatable between gamers, but I mean, again, like, Shenmue was conceived as a multi-part epic, but it was a commercial failure. When GTA came in, it created a whole new meaning to what it means with open world. I mean, we expect so much out of these NPCs now. And that's all thanks to part in GTA. Don't get me wrong, Shenmue definitely had that open world experience, but like, just the fact that you get to jump on, all different kind of walks of life, whether it's jumping in a car, gunplay, melee, action, you name it. It's just like, really? But then again, last year, Lara Croft, became the most iconic video game character of all time. It took out Mario, Sonic, and Hitman's Agent 47. So, I mean, I guess it's all how you view it, right, gamers? So we want to know from you. Do you like this? Do you think this is fair? Are we completely off with our opinions on this one? Should we go hit the high road? Let us know what's good.
And we're back with another Reddit debate. And this time, a gamer asked the beautifully chaotic question.
Oh, yes, they did.
What's a game you intentionally played wrong?
I'm so big. Oh, no, you're so big. Wait. There it is.
To say again, what's a game you intentionally played wrong? And no, they're not talking about missing a QuickTime event. They mean going full rogue, ignoring the main objective, breaking the rules, or turning a serious game into a personal comedy show with a friend. That's the vibe. Done that before, definitely. Hey, is there friendly fire? Oh, you're dead already. Yeah, I think there is.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, let's see how gamers react to lovingly disrespecting the game's intentions with the following comments.
That's so funny. That reminds me of that old clip with PewDiePie and Jack Black when they're playing Minecraft, and he's like, "Yeah, I just want to say that like my girlfriend or now wife is a big fan of you, and I just feel like I have to take you out." Bye. Knocks him off the cliff, and he's like, "No!" That's always so funny. Well, let's go ahead and jump right on into the comments. The first one says, "In the first Red faction, my brother and I would see how far we could dig into the canyon wall with rocket launchers." Oh man, I didn't do that. I wish I did now.
Oh, I've done that before. Yeah.
Did you?
Fun time. That game, you could go on forever digging in the canyon sides.
That almost reminds me of like ATV Off-Road Fury. I don't know if anybody remembers that game. Maybe I'm butchering the title, but I think it came out on the PS2. It's like that game. Everybody would always try to see if they can like drive off the map. Eventually, you would ramp up the wall, and then all of a sudden it would like slingshot you back to the middle. Oh, the glory days. And then you get comments like this. "My college roommate and I used to play Halo 2 co-op just to hijack banshees to do skateboard tricks on the terrain for hours on end." I didn't really do that as much, but did you, Henrik?
I didn't do that in particular. I've done plenty of off the beaten path things in Halo 2, though.
Yeah, I like the vibes. I think, hey, as long as, you guys are keeping it cool, calm, and collective, that's all that matters. And then we get, okay, this is a bit of a surprise. Green Hell. "I played a game with a buddy called Green Hell. Somewhere at the end of the story mode, there's a part where you need to get a grappling hook gun in order to progress. Now, the first time we got the gun, but died to a poison frog. So the second time we did the poison frog first, and then I was like, wait, can we build up and not use the grappling gun? That spiraled into a 4-hour adventure to find a way up the cliff by building various different buildings and jumping on the walls. In the end, we managed to get there without taking the gun, which felt like the biggest achievement we did during the whole playthrough. Good times."
Yes, and applause for that one. 4 hours.
Did someone kind of do something similar like that with the most recent Baldur's Gate, where they put a bunch of explosions or something like that?
Oh yeah. Just set up. I think it was like the Goblin Camp or something.
I think it was.
Yeah,
gotta love it. And then you get Elder Scrolls Morrowind. That is immediately went and got myself turned into a vampire and then killed every other living creature on the island. Man, did everyone depopulate Morrowind? Probably the only game of hundreds that I've spent a save entirely devoted to eradicating the population. And we thank you, Morrowind, for bringing us, games like Atomfall.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Might not be do things like that. Hey, you can kill that NPC, by the way, and it will lock you out of doing things, but you can do it anyways.
Yeah, your choices matter. And then, okay, I like this one. Let's see what this one's all about. This says, oh gosh, it's kind of cutting off a little bit on me. But this person used to play, Grandpa bought me the Medal of Honor game on GameCube. My parents thought I was too young to be playing something that's so realistic at the time, this, first-person shooter. I mean, looking back, they were probably right. My grandpa didn't know anything and just meant well. Anyways, I was too young and I sucked hard at the game. It was hard as hell and I never managed to pass the 3rd level. Then one day my parents were away and I invited a friend and I asked him to play co-op with me. We played and I realized that in co-op, when one of them dies, they respawn as long as the other player is still alive. I barely played an hour or so with my friend, but then I proceeded to finish the game in co-op mode, except I played alone. And I would go forward with player 1, make sure everything was safe and then cleaned up, and then move the player 2 forward. After that, I basically used player 2 as a permanent checkpoint. I could move forward at my own convenience. You know what?
Nice.
Damn, son, that is smart.
Creative use of game mechanics.
Damn, right, for real, right? And then I was non-toxic in multiplayer Rocket League match.
Oh,
what a save. Yeah, you know what? Definitely playing the game how it's... Yeah, you know what? You're supposed to say, hey, you little shit, get back and play goalie. No, or like, you've seen a lot of these videos with Fortnite right now. Everybody's getting excited about Sabrina Carpenter, joining, as a new Fortnite skin. And then, there's this trend that's going on. If you see a Sabrina Carpenter, don't shoot, dance in front of each other, and then join along and kill everybody else in this solo match. And by the way, just a reminder, an Epic Games term of services that could get you in trouble. So clip it one time, but don't keep doing it, all right? But HenricK, I mean, this is, I love this question. So what's a game you deliberately played the wrong way? Like turning a stealth mission into a loud, chaotic mess, or thinking, nah, I'm going to do literally anything but what the developers intended?
So this makes me think of all the sequence breaking and speed running that you can do in some of the Metroid games. And thinking back to playing Metroid Prime the second or third time on the GameCube when it was originally a pretty new game, and finding out online, oh, I can do this trick and then get some items early. Like I can get the double jump right as I land on Talon 4. Or I can get the plasma beam like way early and then make everything super easy. Right. This is awesome. And it's just like doing random stuff like that all across the game. Not necessarily speed running it, just sequence breaking.
Yeah, you're like, who needs a game?
Break it.
Yeah, who needs a new game plus? I can create my own interpretation of that. Well, HenricK, I was actually expecting a quicker reply from you, but then I remembered you actually play GTA Online like it's a driver's ed simulator, full stop at every red light, like the NPC of the year. No, really? I thought, oh, wait. You intentionally do that, right? Oh, wait, or maybe I'm screwed, right? But honestly, it checks out. A lot of us do play games completely wrong on purpose. I'll keep it a bit cliche. I like your response a lot better than mine. I think everybody's done this numerous times, and maybe the developers meant to do this on purpose, but take The Sims, right? Where instead of building a dream home, I'm removing all the doors and watching chaos unfold like I'm directing a low-budget horror movie. Someone's got to make money for me, so maybe get him painting while he's bored, locked out with no windows, he can still pay the bills, right? Or the classic Roller Coaster Tycoon, where I design coasters that launch guests into the void like it's a Final Destination. Yes, exactly. I mean, aren't you excited that Final Destination is making a comeback, in the cinematic universe? I love it. So, like, you can get your own little theme park edition by going down this route. So at some point, it's less of a game, HenricK, and more of like a sociological experiment with more questionable morals.
Yes, and I've done that roller coaster thing before as well.
It's another thing too. I actually wanted to replay Call of Duty World War II, and I was laughing so hard because I was playing it on my PS5, and there's a mission where you play as the French operative, and you're sneaking in, where the Nazis are, at one of these buildings, right? And an achievement popped up. After years and years later, it was like, hey, you got an achievement because you actually did it in stealth. The way the mission was intended. So that was kind of funny. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I had that. That's why I love achievements, by the way. Didn't you, this is a little bit off topic a little bit, but like the Nintendo Switch 2, I know the Switch never had it, but like, isn't that such a bummer that Nintendo doesn't embrace achievements? I love when I get rewarded a trophy when I'm playing video games.
It's hitting that dopamine in your head.
Exactly. I would have never known that I was playing it wrong this entire time without that trophy. So thank you, Sony, for always delivering on the goods. Or really Activision, matter of fact. But man, we want to hear from you, the gamers. What's a game that you intentionally played wrong, and why is that the case? Let us know what's good. But man, this has been such a fun ride. I mean, with you, HenricK the Wreck, this is always a blast, and we can't thank you, the gamers, enough for always tuning in live to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because without your support, gamers, this show would not be possible. And hold on to your controllers, because you got a QR code. This is towards my YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show.
Yes, and bask in the glory of my QR code that goes to my YouTube channel, where there's all tons of content from across different genres, and they're all just waiting for you to go and watch and leave a comment. And do leave a comment, because I'm going to respond. Even if it's a weird comment.
No, I mean, we've been loving it. You guys have all been super engaging, even after the show, even when you guys don't make the live show. So we really do appreciate it. We do read every comment. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And enjoy the rest of the weekend or the week. I know some of you might be on spring break, so be safe, party hard, and call an Uber.
Yes,
not worth the ticket, drinking and driving. But hey, have some fun. Hold on to your controllers. We will see you next week, fam. Peace.
See ya.